anyone responsible for an election. Thanks very much.
Okay, welcome back to the show. So you see the whole, doesn't matter if whoever wins today, it could be just all rigged, Sandra.
Well, isn't that really what it is anyway?
I don't know.
Retrograde or not.
I don't know. Okay, well, let's move on. We'll find out tomorrow. We've got Donna Kakonge joining us here. Donna, great to have you on.
Thank you for having me back.
And thank you for wearing the poppy.
Well, I figured I would. I figured I'd try.
Haven't seen too many of them, actually.
Oh, they're out there.
Yeah,
I have to get one.
They are.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
they're right after Halloween they came out.
Yes.
Nice.
I noticed. Okay, so now Donna, I know you got a book launch coming up, but is the book How to Talk to Crazy People, is it actually out yet, or what's
It's not officially out yet. It actually went to the printer today.
Okay.
And it'll be out November 26th, the same day of the book launch. It's available.
Oh, okay,
November
great.
26th?
So it's going to be a party. The book will be available. Are you going to read from the book? What?
I'll read from the book, and and hopefully people will buy it. And I'm going to talk about some other books I've done about the politics of black hair, and and that's the way the evening will go. And everybody here is invited.
The politics of black hair?
Yeah, because I have some other books that I've self-published on the politics of black hair. So
I guess we won't even go
mix
into that, but wow,
yeah,
that's an
kind of a
interesting
different topic.
Holy cow.
And I'm actually doing some hair blogging around that right now. But that's
blogging.
Yeah. So, but for a website called Hairstyle Trends, and but yeah, the book How to Talk to Crazy People, that'll be the focus of the event on the 26th, and that's happening at Accents on Eglinton Bookstore at Dufferin and Eglinton. And
Is it east or west?
It's actually west.
On the
It's
north
west.
or the south side?
On the north side.
Okay.
On the north side.
Dufferin and Eglinton.
It's very close to Maria Shuka. I think Shuka is how the last name is pronounced. Public Library up there.
Yes,
so
yes,
yeah,
yes.
not too far away from there. And so it's a good space. It's a great space. They've got lots of books there too. And so it'll be a good evening.
What time does that start?
7 p.m.
7. Okay, great.
7 p.m.
Okay.
So that's with this book is with How to Talk to Crazy People is with Life Rattle Press, and then as well, Life Rattle Press has their Totally Unknown Writers Festival Collection 2012 coming out,
Oh, very
and
cool.
that'll be at the Rivoli on November 21st. At I think doors open actually at 6 or 7, something like that. You can check the liferattle.ca website for more information.
And are you going to be at that one as well?
I will be there. I was part of the collection last year. That was actually my debut with Life Rattle Press, and I'll be introducing one of the authors.
Because you're no longer an unknown writer.
I don't know about that, but
So what was the response like when you were there last year?
it was fantastic. It was really good. A
Wow.
very welcoming community. My sister, my mom came out. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. The publisher was there. All the writers were there. Writers from the past were there. Like the whole kind of anybody interested in Life Rattle Press and what they do, because they also have Life Rattle Radio as well. And these are podcasts that you can get on iTunes, and then it airs live each night on Thursday nights. You could get it from all over the world, and you access it from all over the world. And great stories you hear.
Wow.
So yeah, and that
Wow.
happens every Thursday night.
Nice.
So yeah. And Life Rattle Press is a nonprofit, so it's basically like an incubator for people who want to write, and it gives them a chance to be able to do it.
Do they focus on specific topics, Donna? Like
All different kind of topics. Really, the focus is creative nonfiction. So it has to be basically a true story, but done in a literary way.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah. So it's and the editor, the proofreader, the copy editor, the publisher, they're all fantastic, and they probably give you, I would suspect, more attention than even like Random House or places like that would, because they know they're working really basically with new upcoming writers that aren't necessarily that used to the traditional publishing process. These aren't the J.K. Rowlings, right?
Yes, yeah.
These are the people that may have that kind of talent, but they're just not that known yet.
Now, but if they become a J.K. Rowling, do they still stay with Life Rattle, or do they move to?
What then then happens is that they encourage this as well. Like they hope that a bigger publisher will kind of buy the book from them and take it over. And the writer has copyright, but they just bind the book over and will take it on and give it, mainly marketing is the main thing that they can't necessarily provide. So because they're a nonprofit, so you won't see posters like what you can see in the TTC, like the girl with the snake tattoo or whatever. You're not going to see that because even it's paying money to have a launch at the Gladstone. They got to count their pennies, right? So whereas Random House can have it at the Liberty Grand if they wanted to, right? So you can just invite every single person you've ever known. So but yeah, so it's so they encourage that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now let's talk a little bit about this book. And I understand this isn't the original title. You had a different title for it.
It did have a different title. It was originally called Only My Voice. And then Lori Callis, who's the managing editor, she calls me up one day and she says, I think that title is a little flat. and how about this? How to Talk to Crazy People. So I kind of stopped for a moment, think about it. I'm like, okay. So and there it went. So even when sometimes I'll Google the title Only My Voice and then stuff comes up and it's like, but it's now officially called How to Talk to Crazy People.
So let's talk about what the book is actually about. Let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Is it self-explanatory?
Well, I think a big reason. I think a big reason why How to Talk to Crazy People is a much better title is because there's actually a chapter in the book in the second section that's called How to Talk to Crazy People, and it's about an experience where I'm in Uganda, Kampala, Uganda, and my aunt there, who's a medical doctor, I'm going through a crisis, and she manages to calm me down without me needing to be hospitalized. And I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, so it's about the experience of bipolar disorder. So she calms me down just through her words and what she says, and I just calm down, go to sleep, and everything is fine.
Wonderful.
So that's actually why it was just seen that title was better to have.
Is it, even though and it does sound like a great title, but is it also, can someone reading the book, because there's people who know people or have family members who have bipolar, sometimes it's difficult to deal with
without
with those people. And I'm just wondering if people who read the book, will they gain an insight into how they can help deal with and help their friends and family who might be dealing with this?
I think definitely insight can be had by reading the book. And my own psychiatrist, Anna Skorzewska, actually did a review for the book. And she thinks it's something that anybody in the mental health field, and even if they're not in the mental health field, should read. And it's important as a mental health text. A woman who is diagnosed schizophrenic and wrote a book called Mind Full of Scorpions. She read the book and felt it was also something that is insightful. It does lend to the body of knowledge that's out there. The copy editor, John Dunford, his comments on it were mainly that he felt that what he really liked about it was the fact that it's not written in the past tense necessarily, which is great. It's mainly written in the active voice, and since it's written in the active voice, it's kind of like you're right there in the moment. It's not so much a reflection piece. And David Cheriandy, who wrote a wonderful book called Sukyon, and he has another book coming out called Brother with McClellan and Stewart. Sukyon came out with Arsenal Pulp Press, and he wrote a review for the book too. And he also commented on the writing. As somebody who's a writer, he's a professor of English at Simon Fraser University, and he felt felt it was also very well written too. So in that kind of, because
you've got really good support backing you up here,
which is great, because at the end of the day, a book is a product, right? So you're trying to get a product that is good to read and plus informative and enjoyable and creates an experience. And I think for all that, it definitely does do that. Like
plus the topic's a touchy topic and can be considered intimidating.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
And fearful.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I think a book is a good kind of way to discuss this kind of topic for maybe somebody who may be questioning themselves about what they're going through, or maybe somebody that they know or just wants to know more about this topic and doesn't really understand what really is meant by crazy. Isn't everybody crazy? And then really understanding that, like, okay, well, what is the difference between kind of like having a day where, like, you're forgetting your keys everywhere you go, or like, the kind of other spectrums that can be had. So, and so it's good in that sense. I think it really is a good book. Yeah.
So let's talk about a little.
Thanks to my editor, my goodness. And
now you mentioned the one chapter which is actually called "How to Talk to Crazy People," but can you just kind of describe, what's in the book? The arc of the book?
So basically the first part of the book explores my experience after I come out of undergrad, and my starts right from my first hospitalization, and then from my first hospitalization it goes into basically how I got there.
No, just before, so, I mean, it's a big, fascinating topic. Can I just ask you, so how old were you when you had your first episode?
23.
Was there any sign when you were growing up prior to that there was something that was going to hit you at that age?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I mean, not particularly. Like, I was a good student, active in sports at certain times in my life, especially when I was much younger, high strong for sure.
But so are a lot of us, and we don't have that issue.
Exactly. But there are certain situations that occurred, certain genetic situations that are in place as well, that if you read the book, you'll
see a pattern.
You'll see the pieces of the puzzle.
But do you know what causes it, or was there anything that triggered it? Do you think?
A number of things can cause it. Like, then I can talk in more general sense, right? Like, like McGill University did an entire symposium a number of years back, and about how oftentimes drug use can trigger a mental breakdown. Now, I was not ever anybody who was a big drug user, but I discovered by just trying marijuana once that I'm allergic to it. And
and that could have triggered something.
It contributed to me flipping into mania, right? So see, some people, it doesn't do that to them. They can smoke it every single day of their lives, and it doesn't do that. But it's the same way that some people are also very allergic to cigarette smoke, and they will gasp as though they're going to die, like, if even they smell it, right? So it's, everybody is different, basically, right?
And it's I think not just the drugs. I think that a lot of, when you first asked that question and you were talking about the study, I think actually there's a lot of the chemicals that we have in our food.
That's true.
And in our soil can also trigger.
Food is actually a really big thing. And like now, I've actually written now a follow-up to, it's just a draft and it's in no way publishable, but with a working title, who knows, it may change, called Crazy People Talking Sane. Vignettes
that's
of
amazing.
Normal
I
life.
love that.
Yeah, Crazy People Talking Sane. Because basically what I've managed to do here at this point in my life is almost 10 years manage my bipolar disorder. So
congratulations,
I went
that's
from
wonderful.
having, like, 16 hospitalizations to managing it for the past 10 years. So,
Wow.
and so it's more, it's, I wouldn't necessarily say How to Talk to Crazy People is like a happy kind of book, but it does have a certain sense of optimism and optimism and hope to it as well. Like that comes through, right? So, and, but Crazy People Talking Sane is more about, okay, managing kind of like the good things, how to get, you know, like I don't drink. I'm on the path of trying not to smoke. I'm wearing the patch, you know, so, and getting to the point where I'm not smoking anymore. There's certain things I just really can't do. I can't go out partying all night long like I'd love to do many times, but I just can't really do that because I got to really watch my sleep, you know. I can't go to McDonald's 3 times a day. Like, you know,
that's
I
actually
gotta
a
watch
blessing.
yeah,
That's
it
actually
actually is a blessing. It actually is a blessing. I got to really watch what I eat. So, and make sure it's really healthy and it's nutritious. I'm getting my fruits and vegetables, and, you know, I'm starting not to eat red meat and things like this.
And this
you know,
has a positive impact
On
on
the
your
mental
on the
state.
bipolar.
It's really had a very positive impact. I mean, I think next time I see my psychiatrist is going to be like, wow. Last time she saw me, I see her twice a year. Last time she saw me, she was like, oh my goodness, you're alive. And then
Well, that's positive. What did you expect?
Take it how you will. And the next time I see her, she'll be like, well, okay, I think she also read the book, so you know, I think she'll be glad that things are coming along nicely. So it's taken some time, mind you.
Well, you know what? If we can say, if we have, you know, definitive proof that, you know, the antibiotics that are fed to the animals are decreasing our immunity to antibiotics, if it can flow in the stream, if it can affect our immune system, it can, what's to say it wouldn't affect our mental health system?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So how we don't, and diabetes is directly, or adult onset diabetes is directly related to diet. So if it can affect if it can affect your endocrine system,
exactly. Like even with diabetes, these are health issues. These are basically health issues.
So in mental health,
there's all my
no
sea
other
salt. You know, I used to take salt. I used to be cooking, and salt would be on my fingers. Sea salt. I love sea salt. I'd lick my fingers with sea salt on it. Like now, I throw it all out. I use this like.
What, is something wrong with sea salt?
It's not good for you if you have high blood pressure. I have high blood pressure.
You know what apparently is good? Speaking of that, is Himalayan salt.
Really?
Apparently, it's not a sea salt, but apparently it is actually very, very healthy for you to take, even if you have high blood pressure. It's actually very needed salt. It's got all kinds of stuff in it.
It's pink.
Interesting.
It's pink.
Interesting.
Tastes very different though, and don't use a lot.
I can imagine.
And at first, I thought it was awful.
Well, I eat a lot of fish. And I also use this President's Choice brand from Loblaw. It's like no salt, kind of Mrs. Dash type of thing. So
that's good. And that's not mono.
It's great. It's
monosodium
great. It's great.
glutamate.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, it's natural stuff.
I really do think there's a lot to that, though, because mental health is just one other aspect of the whole body, right? But we tend to have this stigma that, okay, it's okay if you're diabetic. We don't look at that as that stigma.
That's right.
But mental health, ooh, it's okay if you have heart disease, but mental health, ooh, you know, we can't talk about that.
That's right. And actually, you know, but the states is actually, speaking in states in their election and everything, they're ahead in the whole mental health discussion in some ways, because they're actually considering changing, because right now it's kind of normalized to call it mental health or mental illness, right? In the states, they're actually moving towards calling it co-concurring disorders. Co-concurring disorders. So understanding and feeling that with that frame or that catchphrase, I mean, labels are one thing, and yes, they can be discussed and all these kinds of things, but co-concurring disorders is supposed to be able to take into account all the contributing factors that create a situation, any point of illness, right? So even be it cancer, be it heart disease, be it anything.
So it's more integrative.
Co-concurring disorders, exactly. Or more holistic approach, right? So to understanding what illness is really about, and that it's not just simply like, okay, so I smoked a spliff one day and then I end up in the hospital, or okay, so my dad also had a breakdown when he was 16 seen. I have a aunt that also suffered from depression. I have, it's just not. It's not always that simple, because there's tons of people who could also have genetics running through their system, and they still do not end up ill. Right, so it's or with disease basically. So we still got a lot of work to do on all these things. So my book is it contributes to the discussion. It contributes to the discussion.
That's a really good way to put it.
And I hope that other people will be inspired to also write their own stories too, because that's the best you can do. You can't talk for other people really at the end of the day, right? The best you can do is just.
Each of us has to do our own part in preventing the zombie apocalypse.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's a good title for a book. The zombie apocalypse.
I love that.
It's coming. It's coming. Beware, people. Okay.
So you did interview him for the book, didn't you? How to talk to crazy people.
I didn't. I didn't interview you.
He could be the chapter on the zombie apocalypse.
I didn't interview you. No. But Hugh's coming to my book launch.
I am looking forward to it.
Yes.
So it's
He's
November.
coming with his wife.
November 26th at wrong information. What's the date?
November 26th, 7 p.m.
Okay.
7 p.m. And it's at Accents on Eglinton Bookstore. I believe the address is like 1784 Eglinton Street West, but I could be wrong.
Just
about
west
that.
of Dufferin on the north side, right?
Yes, exactly.
Just look for the bookstore.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we look forward to that. We look forward to the book coming out.
Good luck.
And
Continued
it
success.
sounds like, Donna, that it's really for people who might know somebody who's got bipolar, maybe somebody who's got bipolar might get some insights on how they can deal with it, and also anybody who's just generally interested in preventing the zombie apocalypse.
Exactly.
Okay.
We should be everybody.
Which should be everybody, because except maybe a zombie. Okay.
It's called The Matrix.
Donna, do you have a website or something where people can get and stay in touch with you?
Plus, the book is available for pre-order. So if you go to the liferattle.ca website, you can pre-order the book, and I encourage you to do so. It will come on the 26th. Life Rattle Press is a very good organization. And as well, my website is donnakakonge.com, DonnaKakonge.com.
And they can sign up for your blog there?
Well, you can go to the link for Donna Magazine, and you can subscribe to my blog, which would be absolutely fantastic. So,
okay, great. Because then they can find out about the hair.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to come back and talk about that. I want to get into that.
Maybe you can find out.
What reasons to come back? And not the ear of Hugh and Sandra.
You know what I want to find out?
What?
What's a spliff?
You don't know what a spliff is?
Oh, you don't know what a spliff is? My goodness, girl. See, this is why she looks like this.
Okay, we need to have, maybe we'll get some video on that. We can show Sandra what a spliff is. Although I'll have
Should
to
I
do
be
my...
embarrassed that I don't know?
No, be proud. Be proud. This is how I'm hoping my nieces turn out.
Okay, I think I have a clue now.
All right. Okay. All right, Donna. Thanks for doing this. Okay. We're going to take a little break. Hey, we got the Bryans here. We got Brian Adams. That's right. Brian Adams is here. And Wilder Weir from the Paddling Bryans, which is airing on the Travel and Escape channel.
This is the Brian Adams.
And we're going to watch a little bit about their first canoe trip. And we're going to come back and chat with these guys right after this.
Yeah.
We're about to go out on a big adventure down from Milk River, Alberta, all the way to New Orleans, 5,500 kilometers or so, in a paddle boat. And yeah, hopefully it should only take us half a year. It would be cool to do the trip in a motorboat or whatever, but it wouldn't have the same meaning, you know? We're Canadians and we're gonna paddle a canoe, man.
We're just saying, we're out. We'll see you guys in New Orleans. No one back home has believed us until we were, pulling out of the driveway.
Now is the time to let go. Trust in me and let it flow. Leave your worries far behind.
It's gonna be sad leaving here though. We met some people that are just gonna be friends for life.